Good morning, Year 10. This is Simultaneous Equations video 1. In this video I'm going to go through how to solve a simultaneous equation where one of the variables has the same coefficient. And by that, my variables are the x's and the y's. The coefficients are the values in front of them, the number that they've been multiplied by. So looking at this pair of simultaneous equations, they both have 2y in them. And that means I don't have to do anything to change that before I can start solving them. Looking at these two equations then, if they've got 2y in both, if I subtract the bottom equation from the top one, then 2y take away 2y is nothing. So we've eliminated that variable, and that's always what you're aiming for, is to eliminate one of the two variables. Because we've subtracted that term, we need to do the same with all of the others. So going left to right now, 7x take away 3x is 4x, 2y take away 2y is 0, we've already said that, and then on the right hand side of the equals, 35 take away 23 is 12. So we now have 4x equals 12. If 4x is 12, then a single x must be 3 because 4 times 3 is 12. And that's our first solution. We now have a second set of calculations to do to find the second value, the value of y. We start with one of the two equations, it doesn't matter which one, and we write it out again. So 7x add 2y is equal to 35. We know that x is 3, so we can substitute 7x for 7 times 3, which is 21. So now we have 21 add 2y is equal to 35, and we can solve this to work out what y is. If we subtract 21 from both sides, we get 2y is equal to 14, and then divide them both by 2, y is equal to 7. And that's our second solution. But we're not quite finished, because we always need to check our answer at the end to make sure it works, and we do that by using whichever equation we haven't already used. So if 3x add 2y is equal to 23, 3 times our x value, 3 times 3 is 9, add 2 times our y value, 2 times 7 is 14, and 9 add 14 is indeed 23, so we know we've got it correct. And you can always check your work with solving equations. If it works, it's correct. If it doesn't work, it's wrong. And then you go back and see if you can identify where you've gone wrong if that's the case. I've got a second example here that's slightly different, because in this one, both equations have 3y, but the first one's positive and the second one is negative. Instead of subtracting one equation from the other, we're going to add these together, because then when we do 3y add negative 3y, we get nothing. And again, we've eliminated that variable. Doing the same with the other terms, 2x add 8x is 10x, and 14 add negative 4 is 10. Do be careful with your negatives. And if 10x is 10, 1x must be 1. We go through the same steps now for step 2, which is to solve for y. So we've got our first variable. I'm again just going to use the first equation, but it doesn't matter. 2x add 3y is equal to 14. X is equal to 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 add 3y is equal to 14. And solve for y. Subtracting 2 from both sides gives me 3y is equal to 12. And then divide both sides by 3, y is equal to 4. And that's my second solution. Again, I'm going to check my answer by using the equation I've not already used. 8x take away 3y is equal to negative 4. 8 times 1, 8 times our x value is 8. Take away 3 times 4, our y value. 3 4s are 12. And 8 take away 12 is negative 4. So again, we know it's correct. This is my final example for this video. Again, I've got a variable here where one of the coefficients is the same, but this time it's the x instead of the y. It doesn't matter which variable has the same coefficient. We start off in exactly the same way by deciding, do we need to add them together or do we need to subtract one from the other? And here, if we do 5x take away 5x, that will give us nothing. That will eliminate that variable. And so we need to do the same with the others. 6y take away negative 2y is 8y, because you're subtracting a negative, which is the same as adding. And then on the right hand side, 9 take away 17 is negative 8. If 8y is negative 8, then 1y must be negative 1, and there's our first solution. To find the second one, again, start with one of the equations. So 5x add 6y is equal to 9. So 5x add 6 times negative 1 should be 9. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. So 5x take away 6 or add negative 6 is 9. Add 6 to both sides. 5x is 15, and then divide both sides by 5 to get x is equal to 3. The last step is exactly the same. We check it. So using the second equation, the one that we've not already used, 5x take away 2y is equal to 17, and x is 3, y is negative 1. So 5 times 3 is 15. Take away 2 times negative 1. So we're subtracting negative 2, which is the same as adding 2. And that gives us 17, which is what we wanted. And therefore, we've got it correct. I'll go through just those steps as a checklist. So our first step is to check that we have the same coefficient. If we do, we can keep moving through this checklist. If not, then you need the second or the third video in this series. So assuming we've got the same coefficient, so for example, 5x in both, then you need to decide whether you're going to add or subtract to eliminate that variable. So here, 5x take away 5x would give us 0, so we'd subtract all three terms. So we solve for the first variable and then substitute that back in and solve for the second variable. And then your final step is to check your working out to make sure you've got it correct. So please feel free to go back through, watch this video as many times as you need, send me an email if you get stuck, and if you're happy with these, this covers the first 3 questions in the task, and then you need video number 2 for the next questions.